I know what you are thinking. What the heck? This consulting video is a little different. In this video, I will empower you to immerse yourself in a real and truthful consulting project to stretch your imagination about a consulting job. Join me to a consulting meditation. Welcome back to You in Consulting, where I share my top quality advice on your business and consulting career. I'm Jack and spent 5 years with McKinsey & Company as a consultant and project manager. Part of my mission here on You in Consulting is to help you validate your motivation to pursue your consulting career. And one way to find out if a top management consulting job at a company such as McKinsey, BCG or Bain is a good fit for you is to study consulting project experience reports. You find such reports on career websites online or in recruiting magazines. Unfortunately, I find that these reports often sound extremely similar. I've worked too many hours, but my project has been so exciting. Frankly, many such reports do not go deep enough to enable you to truly understand and feel how a consulting project challenges you intellectually and affects you emotionally. As usual on this channel, I aspire to go beyond that. In the following, I present to you a truthful consulting experience story. This report is from somebody who worked at one of the MBB consulting firms. A few details in the video have been changed to hide the identity of the company and the consultant, but otherwise it is a true story, reflecting the light and shadow of consulting life, just as it is. Furthermore, I do not just want to talk to you about consulting experience, I want you to feel it for yourself. Therefore, I have written this story in the you perspective to enable you to experience this story as if it had been your own one. And this is how it works. Now close your eyes. Yes, close your eyes. The visuals will not be important. Mute any other sounds around you to start this consulting meditation. And now, just listen to a report. Imagine you experience this project yourself. See what movie emerges in front of your inner eye. How does it feel? Exciting, scary, surprising? I will share a few more remarks at the end of this video. Now enjoy. A dream project for a good cause. Save the world in 10 weeks. A new project opportunity that you find in one of your consulting firm's newsletters draws your attention. It sounds like a true dream project. Serving an American non-governmental organization or NGO as a client, your consulting firm wants to explore new pathways for setting up decentralized power generation in Asia in order to reduce the local CO2 emissions footprint. According to the project description in the newsletter, the team is looking for a consultant adept at building complex Excel models. This internal project or job offer fits your experience profile perfectly, but the project is advertised globally. By now, you know how the staffing process in your company works, and it is unlikely that you will be selected for this dream project. When you study some more details of the project description, you realize that there actually still seem to be many ambiguities around the actual project scope. Can everything that the project aspires for really be completed in 10 weeks? The project sounds exciting, so you give it a shot and apply. A couple of phone calls and a few days of nervous waiting later, you really get selected for this dream project. Your project team is scattered around the globe. Its senior partner is located in the European office, the partner and project director in New York, your project manager in the Middle East, and the other consultant of the team is from the Indian office. Unfortunately, it turns out that there's not enough budget for the third consultant colleague your team had wanted to staff, which will inevitably lead to a higher workload on your shoulders. During the first 2 weeks, you still all work from your respective home offices and familiarize yourself with the project scope. In parallel, you apply for a second passport and for several visas simultaneously. Furthermore, your project manager assigns the project work streams to your colleague and you. It will be your task to analyze decentralized power generation technologies on their technical potential, their ecological balance, as well as their suitability for wide-scale adoption in Asian developing countries. Which technologies score best on these categories? And if subsidized across the country, for which technologies the odds will be the highest that the local inhabitants may want to adopt them? Can these technologies pave the way towards a more sustainable power generation? After 2 weeks, your project director, your project manager and your fellow consultant finally get to meet each other in person in your firm's New York office. You meet your core client, the American NGO, as well as some of the further corporate sponsors of the project. Your employer is subsidizing this effort too by offering reduced daily consulting fees to the NGO, which makes the project a partial pro bono effort. It is highly unusual though that 2 weeks into the project it is still not clear which countries in Asia your team should select and travel to for carrying out the pilot study analyses. The project scope still is in motion. This means that you will not only have to take care of the analytical work, but first of all identify suitable local experts in those countries and arrange meetings with them. For your workstream in particular, you will need to rely on external expertise. Your in-house expert network of energy experts holds a lot of knowledge on traditional ways of power generation at large utility companies. But internal knowledge on decentralized power generation in emerging markets that you could leverage? Not available. After the gatherings in New York, the team splits up. Your project manager discovers that just the next weekend, a conference on decentralized power generation will take place in Atlanta, and you do not hesitate for long. During the 3 days of the conference that you attend alone, you proactively approach many of the energy expert attendees. Besides your personal charm and drive, the fact that you are working on a project for a good cause helps to open many hearts and doors. You quickly learn that a good number of the technologies, often hyped in the media, come with some ecological problems too, have not yet been rolled out at a larger scale and seem at present not ready for mass adoption in Asia. As a consultant, you try to quickly discard such experimental technologies that do not meet the required criteria, so that you can spend more time on prioritizing the remaining, more proven ones. You leave the US and fly over the Pacific to join the rest of your team currently gathering in Hanoi, Vietnam. During the flight, you experience and celebrate the shortest birthday of your life. When you cross the international date line, your birthday is shortened from 24 to just 12 hours. While you study some project documents on your laptop, you at least treat yourself to a glass of champagne on the plane. Your team chose Vietnam as a pilot country, not least because you said you might be able to leverage some of your private contacts there who you believe could potentially put you in touch with some of the top politicians in the country. Your closest friend in the country spontaneously arranges a happy birthday dinner for you and your team, inviting some of his colleagues along. Owing to their kindness and connections, just 3 days later, your team is able to meet some top representatives of Vietnam's energy ministry. In the coming 3 weeks, you hold meetings with representatives of local energy companies, associations and NGOs. You visit some interesting backyard factories. You ignore all warnings and talk to some inhabitants of local slums who welcome you warmly. On the weekends, your friend invites you and your team to local adventure tours and dazzling parties, and you enjoy the local weather. During these 3 hectic weeks in Vietnam, your team is juggling around many tasks. Interviews, collecting and sorting data, research, making new appointments, travel planning. You all are motivated by your drive for the good cause, even though the project leaves you only 10 weeks to save the world. Unfortunately, the collaboration in the team becomes more complicated due to a disagreement. While your expert consultations in Atlanta had helped you to early discard several experimental technologies as non-viable, your project manager was meeting up in a different part of the world with an Asian entrepreneur who wants to pilot the installation of one of those experimental technologies that you had already discarded. You believe you should now dive deeply into the remaining technological options not yet eliminated, while your project manager believes you may move on too early and insists you keep all technologies on your agenda for further assessment. This poses a problem for you, because you do not anymore have any capacities left to prioritize some of the technologies over others for your analysis. In a normal project, the senior leadership would step in to take a decision, but it just is not so easy to always communicate remotely across different time zones. As a consequence, the project scope for your workstream becomes extremely large and tough to handle. You try to both please your project manager, but to also follow through with those technologies you had derived as the most promising ones, and work around the clock. You start something that you have rarely done during your consulting career: weekend work. After 3 weeks, your team leaves Hanoi and reaches its next stop, Hong Kong, where you establish connections with further NGOs. After the first 2 weeks in your home country, 1 week in New York and Atlanta, 3 weeks in Vietnam, 1 week in Hong Kong, 1 week in Beijing and Shanghai, and a final project week in Hong Kong, many local trips for work and leisure, short project nights and weekends filled with work or joy, you have reached the 10th and last project week. Now it would be time for your team to collectively return to New York and to proudly report your results to your NGO client and the other project sponsors, as well as to your project senior leadership. However, you cannot travel. You have overworked yourself to exhaustion on this project and get stuck in your Hong Kong luxury hotel with a serious and painful gastroenteritis. While you are absent, your project team colleagues present your results in New York. You are saddened that you cannot be with them. Furthermore, even though you are truly sick, you are worried if your absence from the final meetings may negatively affect your personal project performance evaluation. Once the project has finished, you take advantage of the flexibility options your firm offers. You go on a quick vacation between projects to recover from your temporary burnout and seize the opportunity to reflect on your most recent project experience. You are still on your journey to grow into a more mature consultant and strive to become an even better and more composed consultant. You are grateful for being able to support such a truly exciting project and good cause, and are proud about your achievements. You also cherish the happy memories of fantastic adventures and interesting people you have met. At the same time, you have learned that you never ever again want to join a project with an open, not clearly defined project scope. Soon after your quick vacation, you roll up your sleeves. A new project adventure is awaiting you. This marks the end of this immersive consulting experience report. Take your time to come back to here and finish the meditation when you are ready for it. You can now reopen your eyes. Hey, welcome back. After you have let the experience sink in, how do you feel about it? Did you enjoy the roller coaster? Did it energize you? Did it stress you out? Did it scare you or surprise you? Does it affect the way you think about a consulting career? If so, how? If you like this somewhat curious format, please let me know in the comments so that I maybe can create another one if you like. Furthermore, if you got addicted to this kind of immersive project experience, I got inspired to create this video by my Management Consulting Guide online course, in which you find a couple of further truthful and authentic consulting project experience reports of this style. Because those reports in my course turned out to be so popular, I thought I'd put another experience report together for you on this YouTube channel. As a final remark, I want to add that this project was not an average MEP project. The project featured in this video was a truly global project in which the team served an NGO. However, such projects do occur. There we go. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and would like to see another one of this kind. Please also like, share and subscribe. See you soon back on here, Jack.